Hi, I'm Professor Bijaya Kumar Das from Jadavpur University, Department of International Relations. Thank you, National Varta, for inviting me to have discussion on a very crucial topic, that is the importance of Chabahar port for India's security and strategic interest. And in this context, I will thank you, Hassan Gayan, for inviting me to share certain thoughts regarding how the issue is very important for India's foreign policy and security issues. So, first of all, I will deal with some of the important factors which India has pursued since 19 since 2012 onwards. That is basically India's extended neighborhood policy. So basically, India's strategic and security interest in the extended neighborhood policy here means the broad Eurasian region, uh, encompassing the energy-rich Central Asian countries. So the Connect Central Asian policy, which has been initiated, and during the Narendra Modi government, it has been emphasized. The need of the Connect Central Asian policy has been emphasized to basically to extract the natural resources from the Central Asian region and to have sufficiency in the energy sector, sufficiency in the fuel sector, or sufficiency in the marketing sector of India, or exporting India's goods and services to the Central Asian Republic. So all of you know that the Central Asian countries, landlocked countries, and there is no connectivity from India to Central Asian republics. There are five Central Asian republics, so there is no land connectivity which will connect Central Asia to India or India to Central Asia. So for that reason, India had to go through Pakistan, then Afghanistan, then Afghanistan has border with Central Asian countries. Then through Afghanistan, India can enter into Central Asian republics. So, in the meanwhile, the recent development in Afghanistan, the Taliban government in Afghanistan, so which was basically not conducive to India's foreign policy. The Taliban elites, which is ruling now Afghanistan, basically comprises of the Pashtuns, primarily comprises of the Pashtun tribes, and India is very much reluctant to have this start debate and discussion with Taliban, which is the ruling elite now in Afghanistan. In the process of the nation building in Afghanistan, so there are many external influences on the nation building process. The basic objective is to influence the process of nation building in Afghanistan through different means or through or different strategy. So there are external involvement, the power, basically China, Pakistan. There historically, Pakistan is historically or culturally very much affiliated to the region of Afghanistan, and along with in proximity, along with or in relation in her bilateral relation with China. So both Pakistan and China now entered into the political scenario or the security scenario in Afghanistan, and try to maximize their interest in the backdrop of the uh, the interest that has been pursued or that has been targeted by the Indian government in this connection. So India has various security and economic interest in Afghanistan. So strategically, Afghanistan is very much important for India. First of all, a peaceful Afghanistan will be uh, conducive to India's foreign policy, or conducive to have a good bilateral relations with Afghanistan. So the recent development in Afghanistan from the political viewpoint, the ruling elite in Afghanistan is more prone to have some sort of bilateral relation or some sort of the alliance system with Pakistan and China, rather than rather than the Indian government. So Indian government at present at present try to address or try to represents its security or strategic interest through bilateral debate and discussion or through bilateral partnership with the Afghanistan. So the coming of the Taliban into Afghanistan pose a number of obstacles in the way of India approaching Afghanistan as it was approached during the civilian government in Afghanistan. So India had to take initiative to at least to have dialogue on the Taliban, the ruling elite in Afghanistan, so that India can have some sort of India can have exercise some sort of its security and strategic imperatives or security and strategic interest in Afghanistan. So Afghanistan is very crucial in other sense also. Through through Afghanistan, India can enter into Central Asian Republic, or through Afghanistan, it will be very easy for India to have developed a close nexus, develop a close bilateral friendship with uh, Iran. The Chabahar port is on Iran. So basically, Indian government, because of the twin factor, the uh, one is the Pakistan factor and another is the Afghanistan factor, which is not conducive at present for India's foreign policy to have certain dialogue to how to connect the network system from the India to the Central Asian Republic. So Pakistan and China is there in Afghanistan, which is intimately try to hinder the interest of India's government, and at the same time also, the bilateral relation between India and Iran is now improving day by day. So it is not as expected last 10 years. So it is because of in some extent, because of the US factor. So India is hesitant to make a full effort to have a good bilateral relation with Iran, so that Iran, in any sense of the term, is a good friend of India, and India had to develop bilateral relation uh, in order to have a broad vision, or in order to have its access through Iran to the Central Asian Republic. So Iran Chabahar port is not very far away from the Mumbai port. It's around 1400 kilometers, not more than that. And in that connection, also another factor is very crucial also, the Gadar port, which is called as the China and Pakistan port, which is very near to the the Chabahar port. It is only 170 kilometer from the Chabahar port to the Gadar port, which is basically called as the China Pakistan port. So in this connection, there is on other issues, there is a close nexus between Pakistan and China. Both countries are known for its enmity with India, not only in security sector but also in uh, in the imperatives of the non-traditional security context. So, so India had to develop either a good sense of bilateral relations with Afghanistan and Pakistan. So, which is not possible at this moment. And relation with Pakistan is very much problematic on account of the policy making imperatives, on account of broad vision of what is going to be beneficial for both the countries, and what is most important is the suspicious mind of the Pakistan about India, or India suspicious mind of India about Pakistan, which is at present as a major hurdle in pursuance of the bilateral relation between the two countries. So at present, India, in order to have successful Connect Central Asia policy, so the only option is to how to develop the Chabahar port in Iran. So in order to develop the Chabahar port in Iran, India had to develop a good sense of bilateral relationship with Iran without thinking about what the external pressure will be on Indian foreign policy. So pressure will be from different sector. Pressure will be from US as a major actor on India's foreign policy to not have a good sense of bilateral relations with Iran. But India had to had to visualize its own imperative or its own security or economic dynamics in order to have a better place in the world in terms of energy security or in terms of the natural natural supply of natural resources and other minerals or India's business in India's business in Central Asian republics. So there are there are many countries which is struggling or which is competing with each other. There are external power, there are regional power which are competing with each other to have a strong foothold in Central Asia because of the energy factor, because of the marketing factor, also the bilateral economic factor, the marketing factor. So China has successfully emerged as a leading player in establishing its own companies for the business sector, and also China is successful in providing the financial aid to the Central Asian countries to have to have to have restructured their the institutional framework or to restructure their uh, nation building process in the long run. So similarly, USA is also interested how to propagate, how influence the liberal dynamics of the human rights issues, or the liberal dynamics of the basic freedom, which is basically universal in nature. So far, US has failed to provide a strong foothold in Central Asia by taking the help of the universal ethos of ethos and liberal democratic value system. So they are discarded the US proposal on liberal values and value system in Central Asia. So they have their national democracy, and the national democracy has its own culture, civilizational value system, and basically based on their day-to-day activities and cultural modes and etc. So US has failed in propagating, or US has failed in providing impetus to the broader region of the Central Asian state. So besides that, US is also successful in exercising its business activities by putting number of companies, US companies in Central Asia in terms of its facilitation of the economic interest. So China, US, and Russia has traditionally one of the leading player in Central Asia, which is called as the security provider to the Central Asian Republic. So Russia has many security interest in Central Asia, and in most of the states, Russian language is called considered as the official language in Central Asia, and Russians are most part of the Central Asian states. So it is the responsibility of the Russian Federation to address the grievances of the Russian citizen, or to protect the interest of the Russian citizen on the one hand, and to balance the external influence in the Central Asian region. So Russia has traditionally and most importantly considered as the security provider and guarantor of the Central Asian region. So in this case, India is far away. So to that end, the broad vision of India's extended neighborhood policy to basically to connect the region, which is uh, not connected through land route, or not connected through the sea route, or not connected through the air route. So the broad vision of connect Central Asia policy to people contact, and the economic objective is to extract more the economic interest, or more energy interest from the Central Asian Republic, because the Gulf region, which is now provides most of the energy security to Indian Republic, is in a turmoil situation, and in order to uh, have a second option of to have a vibrant energy power in power as India wanted to. So it is very necessary to have a good relationship with the Central Asian countries, and in order to that, the Connect Central policy was designed to provide a connection, designed to provide a connection through air, through road, whatever may be the form. So the pipeline issue is coming to the front. And pipeline, there are API pipeline, TAPI pipeline. There are different pipeline project which was initiated, but they have not worked successfully because of the issue of terrorist, because of the issue of terrorism, because of the of the uh, issue of the bilateral relation between India and Pakistan, which is always problematic, and which is uh, in the near future you can forecast a good sense of relation between India and Pakistan. So Pakistan, through Pakistan and Afghanistan, then Central Asia, it will be very easy, and through Iran, from Mumbai through Iran port, and through the business sector, for the revival of business sector or business interest. So the Chabahar port will be connected through Mumbai to Chennai, Visakhapatnam. So India, therefore India at present is basically uh, uh, giving more emphasis on restructuring the Chabahar port so that India can have good access to have its own business interest along with a good access to the Central Asian Republic. Thank you.